Ladies and gentlemen, it is my regret to inform you that the great WWE has just sold out. Folks, welcome one and all, folks. Welcome to the K.O.E Nation, to Big Buckin' Empire, the Dog and Chicken Show, and the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast for this breaking news announcement, folks. Yes, it is being reported that WWE has just sold. Yes, folks, you are hearing me correct. WWE has just sold to Saudi Arabia, no less, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It's being reported. We're waiting for internal confirmation from WWE itself, but it's already being reported that the WWE has sold to Saudi Arabia. Now, folks, this is huge news. A major American entertainment venture has been sold to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And it's one that I've given a lot of time to. It's one that I grew up very much enjoying. And here we are, folks. I am gobsmacked. I'm still trying to take it all in. That, yes, it's starting to look that way, folks. So I'm going to read you from Dextero. WWE sale reportedly finalized in deal with Saudi Arabia by Eleni Thomas. This was just published within the hour, folks. It has been reported by several pro wrestling news sources that the WWE has just completed a deal with Saudi Arabia to hand over the reins of the company and once again privatize the WWE. So let's see. Yeah, Chris, I don't know what to make of this either. Let's just try to find out together what we got here. Oh, God almighty. In fact, this one's going to require me putting on the glasses of extreme for this. Yes, Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Only hours ago, Stephanie steps down. Now we know. Oh, yeah, the idea that those two are not related is there is 0% chance those two are not related. I'm guessing Stephanie found out, oh, if you're selling to the Saudis, I want nothing to do with it. I'm guessing it had something to do with that. But here we go, folks. The WWE, short for World Wrestling Entertainment, has been home to some of the biggest moments in all of sports entertainment. However, big changes and backstage disagreements in recent years have seen the brand undergo major shakeups. Now, perhaps the biggest in pro wrestling history has reportedly been finalized. Sean Mullenhausen, who serves as head of social media for wrestling news outlet DAZN Wrestling, claims that WWE has indeed locked in a deal to sell to Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund. Not only that, but the company will also reportedly be made private once again. Goodness gracious, folks. One moment. Had to clear the airways. So, Steve Mulholland, source, WWE has been sold to Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. The company will go back to being private. Unknown if Vince McMahon will return to head of creative, but it is expected by some people. Other notable pro wrestling reporter Cassidy Haynes also doubled down, claiming that WWE has made a deal with Saudi Arabia, one that would again privatize the company. Quote, for what it's worth, I'm told the Saudi deal is done and they're taking the company private. However, other wrestling reporters, WWE reporters such as Dave Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp, have yet to confirm if the deal has been officially made. Quote, hey guys, one of the hot rumors is that Saudi buyers are interested in WWE, end quote, began Sapp in a recent tweet thread. Quote, I've gained no actual information thus far to indicate this is actually happening, outside a few vague hinting messages from people outside WWE. WWE contacts claim to not know what the hints were about, end quote. So, far be it from a wrestling company to kayfabe, folks. But Chris, no more Sammy unless they let him compete, just not and say, oh, man. I didn't even think of that. Tony G, this will ultimately kill WWE. They do not understand a thing about what they've purchased. And nobody's more well aware of that than Vince. Okay. But he wants his $7 billion and he wants it to be private again. And I think he's just wanting his cash. He's going to walk away, and the Saudis are willing to overpay for it. That's if I had to guess. There's one of two paths here, but I'll get into that at the end of this article. This isn't the only major WWE news circulating online. Earlier today, it was revealed that Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of Vince McMahon, has resigned from her position as co-CEO of the company permanently. The WWE or any official contacts are yet to comment on the rumor. However, we'll be sure to keep you updated as more information is revealed regarding the company's imminent sale. Boy howdy, folks. Boy howdy. Like, this will ultimately kill WWE. They don't understand what. Well, here's the thing. Vince, I'm sure he sees Saudi Arabia as the biggest money mark of all time. And if he can get them to pay $7 billion for this, then he was the greatest worker of all time in his mind. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, I want to go back to what you were saying. Only hours ago, Stephanie steps down. And yes, this is absolutely related because Stephanie, in my opinion, she just wants to be like on the board of some major philanthropic organization. I don't think wrestling really interests her anymore. So, you know, she's been looking for a way out for a while, and now she's at least close to finding it. God almighty. Tony G, not just Sammy, most of the roster is not going to be cool with it. Well, yeah, but Jim Cornette kind of put it interesting. It's like, well, if Vince is worried about a sale, no, sorry, this is bigger than any of the boys. Okay, he's not going to be like, oh no, I got to change the finish here this weekend. You make sure to use brass knucks instead of the steel chair. That'll really do it. Like, no, he's not doing none of that. He's trying to get this bad boy sold for as much money as he possibly can, and I think it's an ego thing. I think he doesn't want it to be no. Nick Khan isn't going to be the one to sell it. It's going to be me. And another thing to keep in mind, what if the rest of the board tomorrow has a different buyer? Vince wants to sell to Saudi Arabia for $7 billion. The board wants to sell it to like Disney for $6.2 billion. Vince just sees the higher dollar figure. The board sees the survival of the company going forward. So yeah, the roster, the back room, there's nobody that's going to be cool with this. Sami Zayn, like, my God, like, yeah, Sammy just as well ask for his release. If this is actually true, he just will ask for his release. His push is done. He honestly should go to AEW. And also, yeah, if this goes down, The Rock isn't coming to WrestleMania. The Rock doesn't want nothing to do with this. Like, are you kidding me? Tony G, Vince saw the company trending up without him, and as any great business mind would, it pissed him off to the point he forced his way back in to literally poison. Yeah, it's the NWO. I will inject a lethal dose of poison into the WWE. Except for rather than it being the black and white, it's the green and white. Yeah. It's a whole different. Oh, God almighty. So, yeah, folks, the Vince McMahon lethal dose of poison promo became manifest in reality. Himfly, does this mean the women wrestlers can't wear sexy attire anymore? God, that it might. It actually might. You're probably not going to see. Yeah, you're not going to see women probably showing nearly as much skin anymore. Like, that was getting kind of dialed back. But yeah, Mandy Rose got out at just the right time, if this is the case. Hugo Salenza, I'm in a dream. Salencita. Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry. I need to keep my glasses of extreme on here. I'm in a dream. Is this true? I hope it's not. To me, I think this is Vince trying to get out ahead of the headlines. And I think the board has a buyer. And I think Saudi Arabia is Vince's buyer. So I think you're going to be seeing some competition here. But here's the problem: Saudi Arabia's got the scratch to pull this off. It's not even a big deal for them. Like, this is them just buying another sports team. So, because it's interesting thing. Everybody always says that, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or this one dude from Spain, they're the richest person in the world. No, not really. It's the Saudis. They're the richest in the world. It's just, it's distributed amongst so many cousins and second cousins and uncles and such. But if the prince really needed to rally the troops and say, okay, we need all the capital together for Project X, guess what? All that money's coming in. So the Saudis are really the richest people in the world. And unfortunately, if they want to, they could pull this off like that. And that's what makes me a little worried here. And that's probably why Stephanie walked away, because she probably tried to block the deal and found out she couldn't. So that's the end of that. Tony G, once again, the door to actually take a massive step forward for AEW is wide open. Can't wait to see how Tony Khan drops the ball again. Well, if they're the only active wrestling corporation in the United States, it'd be kind of hard because, I mean, Saudi Arabia, oh, God, I shudder to think what it's going to look like. Let's see. Chris, who's the board's buyer? Tony? Like, what? Nice. Turns out it's like, yeah, it's Tony. Now, he does have the money, technically. But how much of his dad's money can he really talk him into committing? Now, granted, he's not just going to write a check. They're going to go to investors and get leverage like anybody else. But the Saudis are one of the few people that they can just write the check. $7 billion. There you go, Vince. All right, make your wrestlers flip around the ring for me. Do it. So, God almighty. Some great points are raised here with a Saudi Arabia-owned WWE. The women are probably, if they're featured at all, are not going to be able to show off their beauty to any measurable fashion. Folks like Sami Zayn, enjoy your final push on television. God almighty, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, all of the weird supernatural anything that would offend an extremely conservative religious crowd, that's not getting on the show anymore. So Bray Wyatt just as well leave again. This is a problem, folks. This is a problem. No MJF and Max Caster promos can make me laugh this off. Now, granted, MJF might be the only guy that could actually get away with signing a contract with WWE. He could actually get away, make a big deal of it, make sure that there's a bunch of Saudi princes around him. Yes, you see, these Saudi princes want to give all their money to MJF. He's one of the few motherfuckers that could actually pull this off. But no, you can't sign with WWE and go babyface now. I mean, it's here's the thing. When Vince came back, I was going to talk about it's funny how woke the wrestling press is these days. I think because you watch a lot of the fans on the Facebook chats and such, they're like, yeah, Vince man coming back, cancel culture can't get him. But then the wrestling reporters are all kind of woke. I thought there was kind of an interesting disconnect here. This is an instance where there's going to be no disconnect. The wrestling reporters, the wrestling fans, everyone's going to universally hate this, because something that a lot of us have dedicated years of our lives and given so much of our time, effort, energy into this fandom and enjoying this product, I'm going to be frank, I feel almost a little betrayed right now. I know that sounds strange. I don't know if that's the proper name for the emotion I'm feeling, but I think it's pretty close. And I think all of you out in the sound of my voice are feeling it too, if I'm not mistaken. Chris, well, no Saudi love Bray. They will headlet. Yeah. They might love him. It just depends. Tony G, Vince McMahon is the worst thing to happen to wrestling. It's now official. He killed the territories. He killed wrestling for entertainment. He killed kayfabe. And now he's killing the thing he took over with. Tony, I would have disagreed with you vehemently until an hour and 10 minutes ago. Okay? If this is truly the case, then unfortunately everything you just said is absolutely true. Heimfly, I guess returning to TV 14 product is out of the question now. Yeah, probably. Anything even slightly lurid or controversial will not be allowed any further. God, God, Lord Almighty, do not let this happen. Like, even if you got to sell it to Disney for $1 billion less, I mean, yeah, Disney's an evil corporation that's fucking like, yeah, like you could make all the lizard people jokes and like they're in line, they're doing the eyes wide shut lizard people Satan parties. And yeah, they're an evil corporation, but they're our evil corporation, god damn it. They're red, white, and blue evil corporation. This is next level Saudi oil baron evil, which is a whole different flavor and a lot more deep earthy flavors of evil. So that I don't know if I'm big into. I'm gonna be honest with you. Vegas TV. This is crazy. AEW gets more chances to overcome the WWE than any company in history, and he still keeps dropping the ball. I feel sorry for all the women wrestlers in WWE, especially. They are buried. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Um, AEW, like, I hope they don't, but they seem to always find a way to trip over their own dick. But this is going to be kind of a hard one to not get. Like it's like putting a layup when it's a foot in front of you and they dropped the basket, so it's like below you just a little bit. So I think this one will be able to be achieved. Tony G, Peacock, NBC, Fox, and USA somewhere right now having a mental breakdown. Yeah. Because like they were all in contention because they liked the content, but Vince wanted to get this done before the TV rights expired and they had to renegotiate it. And so if he's got his 7 billion, what the fuck does he care? So my God almighty. Wrestlers and WWE, I hope you enjoy your Saudi Arabia tour because you're not just going to Riyadh anymore. You're going to have a full territory tour schedule for that. Like a couple of y'all are spending 3-4 months over in Saudi Arabia, and almost all of you are doing jobs to Mansoor now. Just get ready for that. Tony G, give me Darth Vader versus Mickey Mouse at WrestleMania any day over Mansoor versus Mansoor. Snafu Snaps 3. NWO minus Hulk Hogan optics would world stage being set. CEOs worldwide selling, dipping out. Remember Linda McMahon past Gov inside info. Okay. Snafu. Oh, just double post. Triple post, huh? All right. If you keep that up, we'll have to put you in timeout. So knock that off. Where is Saudi Arabia going to broadcast Raw? USA, Fox, Peacock? Doubt it long term. I really doubt that as well. God. Like what? Like, I don't know. Does Saudi Arabia just sell the broadcast rights to Amazon? And now it becomes part of like Amazon Prime? And the bigger question is, in order to get their investment back, do they even need to produce new content? They have 50 years of television content that they can sell to any hungry, desperate content streaming service. I don't think they even need to produce new content, really, in order to at least recruit their $7 billion investment, if you really think about it long term. Mansoor baby. Oh, fuck. You don't get that means war coming CEO. No, I get it. Just We just need one message. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I totally get what you're saying. It's almost like a John Galt Atlas Shrugged situation where all the CEOs are just saying, fuck this. I'm out. I'm out. So, but no, I totally get what you're saying. Chris, LOL Mansoor about to slam K.O.E on aircraft carrier in Saudi Arabia during Ramadan. Jesus. Like, yeah, this is going to get next level, folks. If this is real, Snafu, look at all CEOs. McMahon had to be last Disney CEOs already gone. Oh, boy. Tony G, hey, maybe we can finally play WWE highlights on our podcast, you know? Maybe that might be a thing. I mean, just depends. It really depends. If you pay $7 billion for intellectual property rights, I got a feeling they're going to be a touch protective of them. Call me crazy. Heimfly, Tony Khan can't compete with the Saudis. They can potentially get any wrestler they want. I mean, I was about to say, even Tony Khan can't compete with Saudi money. Nobody can compete with Saudi money. So if the Saudis truly want it, as much as I hate to say, this deal is already done. It's just a matter of what the numbers are. That's it. They've got the money to make it happen, because the sad truth is everything's for sale. When Vince McMahon says, I'll never sell it, what he's really saying is, I'll only sell it for a just king's ransom, basically. So Oil Pipeline Wrestling. Here at OPW, Oil Pipeline Wrestling, me, the sweet crude champion of the world. Like, yeah, you've got the world champion of Oil Pipeline Wrestling, the crude champion of the Oil Pipeline Wrestling. You've got the refined oil of the Oil Pipeline Wrestling. And then the like young upstart, like kind of like the TV title, the gasoline, the petrol title of Oil Pipeline Wrestling. Like, so yeah, this has got potential. Tony Khan can't compete with Saudi money, but literally no wrestler wants to join WWE owned by the Saudis. Yeah. Bryan Danielson is really happy about what he did. Keith Lee and Adam Cole, all they're wanting to get out of their AEW contracts to go back to WWE, that just evaporated about an hour and a half ago. Like, they are now just like, oh my God, Tony Khan, did I ever say how much I love you? I love you, Tony. You're the best. I wrote a poem for you, Tony. Would you like to hear it? Like, yeah, that's what both of them are doing right now. Snafu, the talent not going to want to be working in Saudi. This will be new brand of talent, writers, whole package. Yeah. So this will be a whole new ball game, folks. Tony G, not until we see what will actually come from the purchase. Like Phil said, a roster may not be needed. That's the unfortunate reality is 5 decades of television rights. It's kind of like buying the rights to Seinfeld. You don't need Jerry to stand there and fucking, have you ever been to the airport? What is up with that? You don't fucking need him. You don't. So, God, this is interesting. And yeah, every wrestler in the WWE, I would be very worried about your future from this moment forward. Your future is uncertain. AEW is fucking job security compared to what's going on in WWE right now. So God almighty. Heimfly, everyone has a price, even Vince. It's like Ted DiBiase once said, and actually if you think about it, Ted DiBiase, hip-hop pioneer, everybody's got a price. Everybody's gonna pay. Because the $1 million man always gets his way. Some might cost a little, some might cost a lot, but I'm the $1 million man, and you will be bought. And yep, there we go. Yep. Oh God, Tony G. Yeah, all that AEW needing to improve to keep their talent, forget it. Everyone jobbing to Orange Cassidy and Jericho, and they'll have to thank him for it, and we all lose. Like, yeah. I mean, like, if you're in AEW, you lay down and do your job to Jericho and Orange Cassidy, and you just smile that you've got a consistent paycheck and you know where the next meal that's going to feed your family's coming from, because your compatriots and colleagues over in WWE cannot say the same tonight. Yeah. They don't know if they have to fly halfway across the world half the year now. It's one thing to be traveling in the United States for half the year. It's another thing to have to go all the way over to Riyadh and then travel all over Saudi Arabia. Then you do a show in Riyadh, and then a show in Mecca, then a show in Medina, then a show and then maybe for showing of goodwill, you do a show in the United Arab Emirates. And yeah, and then you have to deal with the fact that there's going to be like terrorists and freedom fighters from like Yemen and such that are going to be coming and trying to potentially hurt you to make a bigger international stage statement. I mean, this happens all the time over in the Middle East. Is one terrorist or freedom fighter from one corner of somewhere comes and tries to injure somebody to try and make a bigger statement. This always happens. So everyone jobbing to, oh God. Chris, GCW is more job secure right now. God damn it. Garbage Championship Wrestling. I know it's something else, but that's what I call it. Yeah. Hell, anything is possible now. Triple H could be All Elite soon. Hell, Stephanie could at this point, just as a fuck you to the old man. Like, I kind of doubt it, but it's a non-zero possibility now. Tony G, Goldberg versus Mansoor looking like a lock main event mania. Live from Jeddah. Fuck. The one thing that upsets me the most is this sale could be the thing that disrupts the Roman Sammartino title reign. So I'm not happy with that at all. Tony G, boy, I wish Triple H bought Ring of Honor. Boy, don't we all. But Triple H can't do shit. Vince McMahon literally has the stock Infinity Gauntlet, and he can snap his fingers and make anything so. So it's literally like, I could see Triple H walking into that boardroom like Thanos, looking at Nick Khan, Stephanie, the three that he's firing. Soon you will know what it's like to lose, to feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail all the same. Dread it, run from it. Destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say, I am here. And guess what? You're fired! Like, yeah, I could see him doing something pretty close to that, actually, unfortunately. Mansoor about to go on 10-year title reign. Bruno who? Oh, son of a bitch. This is not a good development, folks. This is not a good development, not something I'm happy about, not something anybody's happy about. The only one that's happy about this is one Vincent Kennedy McMahon and, well, okay, two people. Vincent Kennedy McMahon and the Prince of Saudi Arabia. That's it. Two people are happy about this. Everybody else is not happy. And, this kind of reminds me of Batman Under the Red Hood, where Batman stops Robin from killing the Joker. And this is kind of like Vince McMahon. This is kind of like what Joker says to Batman. It's kind of like what any of us should say to Vince McMahon is Joker goes, I love it. You rootin', tootin', goth-loving marksman. You found a way to win. And everybody still loses. And yeah, that's pretty much the exact same thing. It's like, wow, you droid jacked fucking genetic jackhammer fucking ego loving motherfucker. I love it. You found a way to win. And everybody still loses. Like, it's actually pretty amazing. It's actually pretty unto itself. So oh boy, folks, if we find out more, if more happens soon, like let me just check the goo machine real quick Let me just check the goo machine real soon. WWE Saudi Arabia refresh. Okay. Nothing new. Okay. Yahoo News. Yahoo News has this for us. Vince McMahon reportedly sells WWE to Saudi Arabia PIF. World Wrestling Entertainment is reportedly being sold to Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. The news comes just hours after the bombshell that Stephanie McMahon has resigned from the company after her father, Vince McMahon, had returned as chairman of the board, who owns controlling shares of the company, is said to have sold the company to Saudi Arabia in a move that will take the company off the public stock market and back to being a private business, per DAZN Pro Wrestling reporter Steve Mulholland. Okay, so no new updates there. It talks about the reasons that he left and all that kind of stuff, but nothing really new there. Hang on. Sasha Banks looks like a pioneer right now. Sasha Banks looks like the last fucking rat that jumped off the sinking ship. Like, she got as much cheese out of that place as she could and jumped off at the very last second. Tony G, Sasha's hair looks like cheddar cheese with mold on it. Yeah, that's one of those, like, you see a hair look like that and you're just afraid that it might catch on. Burial family, time for Impact to make a comeback. Yeah, wow. I mean, I wish him well, but I don't think any of us are going to live that long to watch Impact come back in some major capacity that's even a competition with AEW, let alone WWE, even and regardless of what format it is. So, God almighty, folks. WWE sold to Saudi Arabia. Hogan versus Andre. That's Saudi's property now. Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter, the Iraqi sympathizer. That's now Saudi Arabia's now. The Undertaker's streak. That's now Saudi Arabia's now. Goldberg's streak. That's now Saudi Arabia's now. I want you to think back to some of those real precious memories. And maybe you'll understand why folks like me and a lot of folks like you are feeling a feeling that's close to betrayal. It really is. Dixie Carter greater than Vince McMahon now. I don't know. Dixie ain't getting no billions. Saudi don't even want Impact. So I don't know. That's a stretch. Chris, if WWE becomes private business again, then would it allow its talent to get on the juice again? God, maybe. I don't know. I don't, like, you can't have them violate US law, but I don't think the wellness policy will be nearly as enforced to the people that the Saudi royal family likes. Tony G, after 2023, I may respect Vince Russo more than Vince McMahon. Yeah, this does kind of make David Arquette as world champion seem kind of minor, kind of small in comparison, doesn't it? Kind of makes it seem almost a little petty. Saudi Arabia. Mayor of Ohio, Vince selling WWE Saudi Arabia is the most American thing he could have done. I don't know about that. I get what you're coming at. Vince, shame on you. Marshmallow. Like, yeah, this is not good, folks. This is not good. Like I was just saying, like, I don't know what the emotion is. I don't know what the word is, but it's something that's adjacent to the word betrayal. And it hurts. It hurts. Because think about it. Like I said, like, there's all these great memories. The rise of Bret Hart, the ascent of Shawn Michaels, the Attitude Era run, the rise of The Rock. All of this property, the Saudi royal kingdom, the Saudi royal family. Yeah, that dries my throat just to think about it too, folks. The incredible efforts of the cruiserweights in WCW in the 90s. Mosh and Thrasher, the New Age Outlaws, Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, or Chainsaw Charlie. All of these, I subscribe. Well, thank you, Marshmallow. God bless. Please subscribe. Folks, Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, K.O.E Nation, and Big Bucket Empire. This is a triple simulcast because this is such a big thing. It's resentment. I don't know if it's resentment exactly. It's almost like mourning. Rob Snyder, what happens to Sami Zayn? Does the bloodline turn him on SmackDown? Eventually. After the sale is finalized, I guess late that night, early the next morning, Sami should just ask for his release. We talked about that a little earlier, but the boyhood dream, LOL. Yeah. The summer of punk. Yes, the summer of punk, the pipe bomb promo. Saudi property now. Mayor of Ohio, he's just trying to milk out the most amount of money possible before he dies. I guess he thinks he can take it with him. Yeah. Chris, the yes movement. Oh, God. Tony, it's basking in the audacity of one a-hole who didn't want something to exist without him. Yeah, there's that. Mayor of Ohio, the Undertaker's streak belongs to the Saudis. So many are about to ask for their releases. Yeah. A lot of folks are going to ask for their releases because you don't have job security. You don't know, because the new boss is not going to be the same as the old boss. This is going to be a totally new beginning, a new day for the WWE, a new day for wrestling. I mean, this changes everything forever, folks, if this is actually true. Bro family, on a bright side, maybe we can finally have the hardcore title back in full glory and not of crap. The hardcore title rather than the 24/7, which I think they retired not too long ago because, oh, darn. I mean, I know it was just so great, but yeah, it was time. It was time. Plus, there's the whole morality of it. Yeah. There is that. There is the whole, selling to an evil third world dictatorship. But, hey. Tony G, Sable's hand-printed titty bikini belongs to the Saudis. That we cannot allow it for Old Glory. God almighty, guys. God almighty. Katie Vick, well, okay, they can have that. They didn't even need to spend money on that. They could have just had the Katie Vick storyline in its entirety. Eddie's bedtime stories belong to the Saudis. Eddie Guerrero's run. God almighty. Kurt Angle, the amazing rise of Kurt Angle. That belongs to the Saudis. Hacksaw Jim Duggan's first ever Royal Rumble win. That belongs to the Saudi. God damn it. This is bad, guys. Tony, you say it's resentment, but to me, it feels like the anger stages of mourning, if that makes sense. Because all of us do feel like we've lost something. We all feel like in this moment, all of us fans of wrestling feel that we have been diminished in some way. I can't put my finger on it, and I can't put my finger on as to why. But I think y'all would agree with me. And I can't articulate it any other way. So Ray and Eddie both lose custody of Dominic to the Saudis. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, damn. Oh, God. And yeah, some of the female talents might want to just resign right now. It's no, you don't want. God help you if one of those Saudi princes, you catch one of their eyes. God help you. So yeah, you might just want to put in your release now if this is at all true. Okay. So, and I just say that as someone concerned for your safety. So yeah, this is, oh fuck. Tony G, my excitement for anything WWE related is basically zero once this is final. Like, Tony, now I really regret not going to WrestleMania last year, but there was a multitude of personal reasons I couldn't go. But yeah, that truly was like we went to the one that the last Royal Rumble Pat Patterson agented, which God Almighty, did we not realize what we were seeing? Like, oh my God. And then WrestleMania was one, but like, yeah, just too many personal reasons. But that was the last one where Vince was in charge, truly. Now, I don't know. The Saudi deal goes through in a certain way. Vince might be head of everything by the time it's over. He might be popping the popcorn too. He's like, no, fuck you, popcorn popper. You can't pop it right. I'll do it. So yeah, that might be what we're at. Chris, Randy Orton punt kick and kiss Steph belongs to Saudis. Chris Jericho talking about Stephanie's boob size and her sudden change in cup size live on Raw. That belongs to the Saudis. John Cena smacking Steph belongs to the Saudis. Tony, yeah, we may never get to see another live event. I'm not going to Saudi. Yeah. No, they'll keep running live events here in the United States. It's a good circus, so long as they got the active wrestlers. So long as they decide to be an active wrestling company, they'll tour in the States. But that's always an if they're an active wrestling company. Or they might just decide they just do their yearly WrestleMania and that's it. And they just contract out talent that's from around the world, and WrestleMania just sells tickets because it's WrestleMania. That could actually happen. Non-zero chance of that, folks. See, I want you to think good, long, and hard about this. Because I've been a fan of wrestling for most of my life. Now, strangely enough, it was that Southern Georgia style wrestling that got me into it. First match I ever remember seeing was Ric Flair. And he was on his knees begging out to no, please. And it was some guy with big, wild black hair, and it wasn't Macho Man, but he looked a lot like Macho Man, and he was looking around like, should I hit him? And like, I was just captivated by what I was seeing. And since then, I've been hooked, and WWE has been a huge part of that. Hemfly, this betrayal will not be forgotten for years, and you are correct. You're absolutely correct. This betrayal will not be forgotten for many years. God Almighty, literally my life. Yeah. For many of us, this has literally been one of the defining passions of our lives. And so betrayal, mourning, remorse, anger, these are not emotions one should be associating with their favorite pastime. So yeah, this is devastating. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. To so many of us within the sound of my voice, this is devastating. This is... because, like, I remember I was watching a documentary with Tony about The Undertaker, and it was the fact that throughout my life, I was watching Undertaker matches when I was learning to read. I was watching Undertaker matches when I was in elementary school, when I was in middle school, high school. When I was going to college, I'd occasionally see an Undertaker match, like, okay, what's he doing for Mania? And there was a sort of comfort in that he was this ethereal, eternal force in wrestling. And when he lost to Brock Lesnar, it was devastating because we all had to admit that The Undertaker, yes, is in fact mortal. And this is the beginning of the end. And none of us liked that. And now we have this, which is so much more. This is like... Tony will remember, because we weren't podcasting when this happened. When The Undertaker lost to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Do you remember how, like, Tony, like you've always been a big WWE fan, but you knew like The Undertaker was the only reason I watched WWE for like was the only reason I got into it initially. Then folks like Steve Austin pulled me in, like it was, but yeah, The Undertaker was just like I was fucking devastated. I did my best not to sell it at that moment, but I was absolutely devastated. And like I had to choke back tears when I watched him put that coat and everything down for the last time. Because regardless of the fact of him coming back for appearances, that was the end of a story that I had been a part of for 3 decades of my life. And here we are, folks. The end of a story that has been a part of decades of our lives. And that's why this is so devastating for so many of us. Snafu, it's over bunkers for elite. Tony G, I really hope they get offers from interested parties to buy parts of the WWE brand, say WCW or ECW. That'd be nice. Big Vinny, greatest heel ever from top to canceled to top again. Hi, wow, what a day in WWE. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. That's what. Is that a table or piano? Cool, Mike. Thank you. This is a bar. This is a nice granite bar. But yes, folks, be sure to like, share, subscribe here at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, KOE Nation, where you can find me, Phil KOE, on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. And of course, Big Buck and Empire for weekly news and views with me, Tony, and Chicken. Hey, folks, even in the middle of all this devastation, I'm never above shameless self-promotion. So, goodness gracious, folks. The WWE sold a McMahon not at the head of the helm of wrestling for the first time in decades, potentially. It's not hasn't happened yet, but potentially. So God almighty, folks. Well, folks, let's see. NXT about to get yet another makeover. Oh God, you suppose Bruce is coming back? Or did Bruce ever leave? I don't know. But folks, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us here at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Here at, oh God, the tarmac. Yeah, God, if you're a wrestler, why would you ever, oh my God, the fucking hostage situation. And they had to have Donald Trump basically fucking negotiate that away. But folks, all that being said, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to KOE Nation on YouTube, KOE Nation on TikTok, KOE Nation on Twitch. That's K as in King. O as in, oh my God, you can find KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. E is an extremely happy to know you can find KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. Folks, also, be sure to like, share, subscribe right here to Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast on YouTube and Spotify. And be sure to follow Big Buckin' Empire on YouTube and Facebook. Folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. God bless every last one of you. Stay safe out there. Let's hope that tomorrow morning brings a brighter day, happier reporting. Folks, I hope all of you make it back to the KOE Nation, to Big Buckin' Empire, and to the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Happy, healthy, much the wiser. God bless you all. God bless America. Catch you later, folks.